नमस्ते। मैं हूँ राहुल और आप देख रहे हैं क्रिकेट पर हमारे मेरा रुख चैनल की स्पेशल कवरेज। और आज हमारे साथ हमारे दो फ्रेंड्स हैं, अनूप एंड लेवी। अनूप एंड लेवी, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। और बड़े ही चेहरे पे एक मुस्कान है, और वो मुस्कान हो भी क्यों ना, उस मुस्कान का एक रीज़न भी है। वो रीज़न है नीतीश कुमार रेड्डी। उन्होंने क्या सुपर्ब इनिंग आज खेला, और उन्होंने वाकई में ये इंडियन टॉप ऑर्डर बैट्समैन को बताया कि कैसे इस पिच पे खेला जाता है और कैसे इन बॉलर्स के अगेंस्ट खेला जाता है। ये चीज़ें रोहित शर्मा, विराट कोहली और ख़ास तौर पर ऋषभ पंत को सीखनी चाहिए। अगर आप एग्रेसिव एग्रेसिव नेचर के खेलते हो तो फेयर इनफ, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। पर अगर आप कुछ तो भी शॉट खेल के आउट हो गए तो वो एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं होता। स्पेशली अगर वो शॉट आप पहले अनसक्सेसफुल हो मारने के लिए, उसके बाद भी आप ट्राई कर रहे हो और दो फील्डर पीछे इसीलिए लगा रखे हैं कि आप ये शॉट खेलोगे। थोड़ा सा सेंसिबली अगर हम खेलें तो हम हमारी टीम को इस डिफिकल्ट पोजीशन में नहीं रखेंगे। हम हमारे एफर्ट से हमारी टीम को उस डिफिकल्ट पोजीशन से बाहर लेके आएंगे। थोड़ा सा अगर सेंसिबली हमारे प्लेयर खेलें तो शायद अभी हम जिस पोजीशन में है 9 विकेट हैं, तो शायद हम 9 विकेट पे ना बैठे होते हैं, शायद हम 6-7 विकेट पर ही बैठे होते हैं। एनीवेज, जो आज का दिन जहां पर खत्म हुआ वो ये है कि भारत का स्कोर 358 पे 9 विकेट, और भारत अभी भी 116 रन पीछे है। भारत 116 ओवर्स बैटिंग कर चुका है। अभी यहाँ से मैच किस तरफ जा सकता है, और आज के पूरे दिन के एनालिसिस के ऊपर हम लेवी और अनूप दोनों से बातचीत करेंगे। लेवी, सबसे पहले आपके पास आते हैं। क्या आपके आज दिन का जो आपने गेम देखा, क्या आपका एनालिसिस रहा, क्या आपका थॉट प्रोसेस, क्या व्यू रहा?
राहुल जी, पहले तो आपके शो में बुलाने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। इट्स अ फैंटास्टिक शो टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस ऑगस्ट पैनल। आई अप्रिशिएट दैट वेरी मच एंड आई फील इंडेटेड। आज का दिन बड़ा रोमांचक रहा, इन अनूप्स वर्ड्स। बहुत रोमांचक दिन रहा आज। हाईलाइट ऑफ द डे वाज नीतीश कुमार रेड्डीज सेंचुरी अगेंस्ट ऑल ऑड्स, अंडर प्रेशर, in a 70,000 plus crowd, or the visiting team expectant कि एटलीस्ट कोई तो बैट्समैन अपने स्किल्स का प्रदर्शन करेगा और भारत को एक मुश्किल सिचुएशन से बाहर निकालेगा। और वो इंसान जो हमें नीतीश कुमार रेड्डी के रूप में मिला। और नॉट टू फॉरगेट जो वॉशिंगटन सुंदर, काफी लोग उस पर प्रश्न चिन्ह लगा रहे थे कि ये कहाँ बैठता है। उसने प्रूव किया कि अपने बैटिंग के स्किल्स के लिए he is a right fit for the lower order batsman where he has taken, and he is a solid contributor। तो एक important है, और बॉलिंग में भी उसने अच्छा टाइट बॉलिंग करता है। तो आई थिंक वी हैव टू आल्सो गिव हिम अ लॉट ऑफ क्रेडिट। 50 रन्स, वो उसका जो 127 रन का पार्टनरशिप था इंडिया के लिए बहुत क्रूशियल था। अब हम इस सिचुएशन पे आ गए हैं कि हम 116 रन पीछे हैं, और ऑलरेडी ऑस्ट्रेलिया वो अभी सर खुजा रहा है और सोच रहा है कि हमें एटलीस्ट 450-400 रन तो देने चाहिए, क्योंकि विकेट फिर भी अच्छा है। इट्स नॉट अ बैड विकेट, राइट। तो अगर वो सोच रहा है कि अगर 100 रन का भी लीड मिले देन उस पे वो 300 रन बना सकते हैं। पर अगर इंडिया ने जल्दी उनके विकेट चटकाए तो फिर वो प्रेशर में भी आ सकते हैं, और इंडिया वो गेम, मतलब द गेम विल बी वाइड ओपन। तो इसलिए व्हाट नीतीश कुमार रेड्डी हैज डन एंड वॉशिंगटन सर, इन्होंने टाइम खाया इन्होंने। और एक और चीज मैंने नोटिस किया कि जैसे आपने पहले कहा, is an ideal role model for the batsmen like Rishabh Pant, the Kohli and them to कितने balls उसने छोड़े। It was actually a poetry in motion, the way he was leaving the balls and he was punishing the bad balls. He did not let any bad balls go, right? He made it count, and he was starring the bowlers, he was leaving the balls, and it was actually a masterclass in how to play on Australian wickets and to wear down the bowlers। तो ये बहुत अच्छा काम किया उसने। Or just to conclude, I think it's a very good position from a viewer's position. All three results are possible. It's highly likely that Australia will win from this point onward. They are still in the driver's seat with 116 ahead, and India's last wicket. Abhi India, what remains to be seen now is how many can India runs can they make if Nitish Kumar Reddy can farm the strike, and in those overs that he is batting can score at least 4 or 5 runs, and at least bat for 6 or 7 overs at that run rate. That will make a huge psychological dent on the Australians when the lead comes below 100. Then they will have to now bat a solid one session, one and a half session, 2 sessions, just to get enough lead to give India a chance of 90 overs to on the last day to bowl them out. तो ये सिचुएशन है.
एब्सोल्युटली लेवी, आपने एक बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट बात यहाँ पर कही कि नीतीश कुमार रेड्डी ने जिस तरीके से बॉलें छोड़ी, आई वॉज वॉचिंग मिशेल स्टार्क, और जो मिशेल स्टार्क उनको बॉल डाल रहे थे वो एग्जैक्टली उनके ऑफ स्टंप और ऑफ स्टंप के बाहर उनका जो 2-3 स्टंप हम जो कहते हैं वहां से वो बॉल बाहर निकल रहे थे, और ही वॉज लिटरली वांटिंग नीतीश कुमार रेड्डी टू जस्ट निक इट, और उन्होंने बड़े ही खूबसूरती से अपने ऑफ स्टंप को जज किया और उन बॉलों को छोड़ा. तो ये चीज एक, और ही इज नॉट अ 30 और 32 33, ही इज जस्ट 24, आई थिंक, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, 23 24
22 आई थिंक 22.
ओके 22. अगर 22 की एज में, अगर इस एज में इतनी मैच्योरिटी के साथ वो खेल रहे हैं, वो भी टेस्ट क्रिकेट खेल रहे हैं, तो ये एक बहुत बड़ी बात है. और स्पेशली जब अनूप, मैं आपके पास आऊंगा इस क्वेश्चन को लेके कि जब वॉशिंगटन सुंदर और नीतीश कुमार रेड्डी खेल रहे थे तो वो ना सिर्फ एक अच्छे रन रेट के साथ खेल रहे थे, बल्कि उन्होंने सिंगल डबल लेते हुए ऑस्ट्रेलिया के बॉलर्स और फील्डर्स को बड़ा ही थका दिया.
Absolutely correct, Rahul. Actually, firstly, thank you for calling us on the show. आपके शो में आने का बहुत मजा आता है. It's good to discuss with cricket with wonderful people like Levi and Sid, who is not with us today. आपने जो पूछा बहुत ही उम्दा सवाल है वो, अगर आप देखोगे तो नीतीश कुमार रेड्डी और वॉशिंगटन सुंदर ने दिखाया कि पिच में कोई भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. बॉलिंग में इतनी कोई पिच इतना कुछ नहीं है उसमें कि बॉलर is going to end up getting wickets. उन्होंने, अगर हम हिंदी में बोले तो ये कह सकते हैं कि उन्होंने धैर्य और संयम दिखाया. राइट, they were very correct in their technique. They played the bad balls, they left the good balls, they allowed the Australian bowlers to tire and then milk the runs, right? Which is exactly आपके टॉप ऑर्डर को जो करना चाहिए था, वो आपके लोअर ऑर्डर ने किया. और ये कोई नया बात नहीं है. आज नीतीश रेड्डी और वॉशिंगटन सुंदर हैं. आई एम श्योर लेवी, आपने भी देखा होगा इतने टाइम में. आई थिंक द इंडियन लोअर ऑर्डर हैज बीन परफॉर्मिंग लॉट बेटर देन द इंडियन टॉप ऑर्डर. राइट, काफी सालों से मैं कह सकता हूँ ये. इवन जब अश्विन ने काफी सेंचुरी बनाए हैं, रविंद्र जडेजा ने काफी इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस किया है. हम कॉन्स्टेंटली ये पूछते रहते हैं कि हमारे बॉलर्स बैटिंग कर सकते हैं कि नहीं. हमें सीरियसली सोचना पड़ेगा कि हमारे एक्चुअल बैट्समैन बैटिंग करते हैं कि नहीं. सो इन रियलिटी हमारे टॉप ऑर्डर हैजंट बीन परफॉर्मिंग फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम नाउ, एंड इट हैज बीन द लोअर ऑर्डर दैट हैज कॉन्स्टेंटली बेल्ड यू आउट. नीतीश की इनिंग्स की खासियत मैं यही कहूंगा कि द वे ही लेफ्ट द बॉल्स was lot more important than the amount of runs he scored, right? Because he was able to judge the length of the ball very well. He was able to leave the balls that have to be left. He was patient, right? Test cricket खेलने के लिए आपको patience सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरत पड़ती है. टेक्निक तो obviously आपको चाहिए, लेकिन patience is very important. I think नीतीश कुमार रेड्डी ने बताया कि वो patience है उनमें. So probably what he has shown today is that he can easily play at the top of the order, right? Which means that what you are now offering from a Nitish Reddy and Washington Sundar is the fact that they can bat as proper batsmen. So unka jo bowling hai, that becomes like an additional talent there. assuming that they continue with the same zeal, right? So when I look at it, Ravindra Jadeja is already 37, so it's not long before he might call time on his career. I think it might be towards the end of the series. So I think Washington Sundar could be an ideal replacement in that sense, right? Because he can bowl pretty well. Not a great bowler. Jadeja isn't a great spinner himself, right? So he's a good bowler. Washington Sundar can do that job. Plus, obviously, Washington Sundar can bat very well as well, right? So maybe India, in the midst of all this trial and error and all the failures of the top order, at least probably have found two young talents who probably can easily walk into the team just as pure batsmen, which opens up a lot of avenues. Especially आप जब ऑस्ट्रेलिया या बाहर के सिचुएशन में खेलते हो. I think both these players played very well. मैं एक ही कहना चाहूंगा, I think लेवी और आपने ऋषभ पंत के वो शॉट के बारे में बताया. I actually watched that shot and I was like flabbergasted, अगर मैं अंग्रेजी में कहूँ तो, because it was absolutely silly if you look at it, right? Because ऋषभ पंत वो शॉट खेलते हैं, उसके वजह से पैट कमिंस ने 2 फील्डर लगाया था on both sides of the wicket. And उसके पहले वाले बॉल में he actually tried playing that shot and he actually fell down. Now आप बोल सकते हो कि like Sam Constas ने भी वही किया था. He actually tried to lap Bumrah 2 times. He failed and then he managed to count. But आप match situation को देखिए, right? Sam Constas was opening the batting. There wasn't that much amount of pressure on him. There wasn't a target that they had to reach. And he's a 19-year-old youngster, right? There wasn't anybody expecting anything out of Sam Constas, right? Nobody expected Sam Constas to get 100. The fact that he got a 60 and did the impact is a completely different thing. But neither Australia, neither India, neither the crowd expected that Sam Constas would do something. Lekin Rishabh Pant is not anymore a young player, right? He's not anymore like a Nitish Kumar Reddy who can who's now trying to make a name. He's an established player and he has to realize the situation of the game, right? उस situation में वो shot नहीं चाहिए थी. शॉट में कोई गलती नहीं है because he has got lot of runs playing that shot. तो वो शॉट में कोई गलती नहीं है. ऋषभ पंत has got lot of runs playing that shot. लेकिन it is important कि आप मैच सिचुएशन को देखें. उस सिचुएशन में आपके पास बैटिंग नहीं है. आप 283 रन से आप कुछ इंडिया पीछे था. I remember that. In that situation आपको ये सोचना पड़ेगा कि आपको ये शॉट खेलना है कि नहीं. तो clearly somebody, I mean, I would say, there is nobody needs to talk to Rishabh Pant. He's got a mind of his own. I don't think कि Rishabh Pant या वीरेंद्र सहवाग को आप समझा सकते हो कि ऐसा खेलो, because that is not their way of playing. But there has to be somewhere where Rishabh Pant has to realize the match situation and make necessary decisions. If you can't do that, then you are going to find success difficult in the test arena because there are other players who can make that situation better. So it has to be very clearly thought. Rishabh Pant has to start thinking कि match situation के देख के कि what kind of stroke play I need to play. Because in that situation, Rishabh Pant being there was more important than actually Rishabh Pant getting a 4 of that ball, right? And all in all, I would say that probably it's maybe something that he has to figure out. But I think the day has been saved by two young talents, or else it would have been a one-sided match. It's not that ki jaise, it's not like the match is like coming into India's favor or anything like that. But at least it has ensured that the match can still have 3 results. There can be a draw. There can be an Australian win, which is the most likely possibility. And if something really magical happens and India are able to bowl out Australia very, very quickly, then you actually open up an opportunity to actually win the game, because pitch में कोई demon नहीं है, pitch में कोई problem नहीं है. I don't think ये wicket ऐसा टूटेगा and suddenly 5th day में India के spin की तरफ pitch turn होगा, वो expectation नहीं है. So there is good chances that all 3 results are possible, but definitely the result of Australia winning this game is much more probable than the other 2 results.
Absolutely. और लेवी, जैसा अभी हम लोग अभी पिच की बात कर रहे थे और अभी हम लोगों ने ऋषभ पंत के उस शॉट की भी बात करी, तो अगर यहाँ से भारत करीब, आई एम नॉट श्योर कि कल सुबह जब मैच स्टार्ट होगा तो कितने रन जो लास्ट पेयर है मोहम्मद सिराज और नीतीश कुमार रेड्डी कितने रन बना पाती है, पर अगर यहाँ से भारत अगर उस लीड को 70-80 रन के आसपास अगर लेके आए तो ये कितना बड़ा साइकोलॉजिकल विन होगा और ये कितनी बड़ी ऑस्ट्रेलिया के लिए एक झटका होगा, या फिर यहाँ से अगर भारत क्या कोई ऐसी उम्मीद कर सकते हैं कि वाकई में इस तरह से बॉलिंग करे कि वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया को 150 पौने 200 के आसपास आउट कर ले और अपने आप के लिए 250 पौने 300 रन का एक टारगेट भारत सोचे कि इतना हमको फोर्थ इनिंग में चेस करना है, ऐसी कुछ
बिल्कुल
पॉसिबिलिटी?
आपने बिल्कुल सही बोला, एग्जैक्टली दैट। मैं भी वही एनविजिश कर रहा हूँ, मैं देख रहा हूँ कि ऐसा भारत अगर उसको देखो, नीतीश कुमार रेड्डी और उनके वॉशिंगटन के जो इनिंग्स ने हमें ये ख्वाब दिखाने का मौका, अवसर दिया। नहीं तो हम, मैं तो एक पॉइंट पे ये मुझे एक डर था कि ये फॉलो ऑन ही अवॉइड कर पाएंगे ये बार, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट। वो 100 रन के फासला था, राइट, और उनके 7 विकेट जा चुके थे। इंडिया वाज इन अ बिग ट्रबल, और इनको पता नहीं कि कितने बड़े होल से इन्होंने निकाला इनको। बट कंसिडरिंग टुमारो, इट इज, कहते हैं ना, इट इज प्रेग्नेंट विद एक्सपेक्टेशंस, tomorrow's day. We hope that Nitish Kumar Reddy can take as much strike as possible. I think Siraj did a great job by playing that one ball of the final ball of the inning, of that, so that we can get Nitish Kumar Reddy on the strike. That was a great defense. I mean, I was like, everyone in the crowd was happy he played that ball. I think he has done once in England as well. I think he did that as well. So I'm hoping that he continues with his defensive technique tomorrow as well. I'm sure in the nets he will be practicing hard to defend the ball well. But I noticed one ball that kept low. I think it was bowling to Nitish Kumar Reddy. It kept low, and that actually everyone took notice of that how it actually kept low. And I believe Nitish played at that ball. He did play at it, but it kept low. So that is what gives me a bit of a nervous energy that the pitch might do something on the 5th day. Maybe not tomorrow. It has to bake tomorrow hot and whatever. But I think on the 5th day, we might see something like that. So it is all that more, जैसे आपने कहा, it is important कि हम इनको जल्द से जल्द आउट करें। और एडवांटेज इंडिया को ये होगा, क्योंकि जितना हम रन्स उनका कम करेंगे, उतनी ही तेजी से उनको रन्स के पीछे जाएंगे, और यही मौका मिलेगा इंडिया को कि because they will be in going aggressively to create that lead, so that they can give a good target to India for chase, and not that much as well. So fighting target like a carrot. मुझे लग रहा है कि 350 फाइनल डे पे या 400 would be more than enough. I don't think they need more than 400 at all. I think 375, 380 would be optimum. To score 318 in a last day, I don't think India, to be very honest, anything can happen. But really, anyone who follows Test cricket, the odds are in favor of Australia to win. Right.
Absolutely.
Even scoring like 380, as जैसे आपने कहा, 380, Australia to get to 380. If India restricts the lead to 80, they have to score 300. Now they've got 2 days remaining. How fast they go, depending on how less wickets they lose. So it is a cat and mouse game, और इसमें इंडिया के पास एक opportunity मिल सकता है potentially if they bowl well. So yeah, that's my response.
Absolutely. अरुण जी हमें क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं। अरुण जी, आपके क्वेश्चन को भी हम लोग लेते हैं। जस्ट मैं एक क्वेश्चन अनूप से पूछूं, फिर उसके बाद हम आपके क्वेश्चन की तरफ आएंगे। सो वी रिक्वेस्ट प्लीज स्टे ऑन द कॉल। अरुण, अनूप, मैं एक चीज पूछता हूं आपसे। फ्रॉम एन ऑस्ट्रेलियन पर्सपेक्टिव, स्टीव स्मिथ ने जिस तरीके से बैटिंग करी है, वो कितनी इम्पोर्टेंट है खुद स्टीव स्मिथ के लिए और ऑस्ट्रेलिया के लिए, जिस सॉलिड पोजीशन में अभी ऑस्ट्रेलिया इस टेस्ट मैच में है?
स्टीव स्मिथ ने दिखाया कि द बेस्ट पोजीशन फॉर हिम टू प्ले इज नंबर 4। तो जो ओपनिंग वाली जो अनवांटेड ट्रायल उन्होंने किया था, और उनकी ही सजेशन थी, तो स्टीव स्मिथ ने दिखाया कि form is always permanent, right? Sorry, form is temporary, class is always permanent. That's how we call it in English, right? So Steve Smith has shown that उनकी जो batting में कोई भी problem नहीं है. It's a question of only the form, and as anyone, he actually missed out on few of those runs at the top of the order. These two innings that Smith has played has been in very difficult conditions, right? He was having a very bad run of form, or obviously, you know, like there was a lot of pressure because unlike India, यहाँ पे ऑस्ट्रेलिया में जैसे ही प्लेयर का एज 35 टच होता है तो सारे चालू हो जाते हैं कि भाई कब उनकी टाइम खत्म होने वाला है करके. बट स्टीव स्मिथ he is probably the best player in the world, one among the top four, right? Along with Virat, Kane, and Joe Root, right? इन चार दिग्गज खिलाड़ियों में से वो एक है. उन्होंने इस सीरीज में ये 200 बना के दिखाया कि he still got everything to play for. And the important part is actually कल जब आपने अगर देखा होगा तो he played pretty aggressively as well, right? जब उनको you know, like the first they scored almost 150 runs in the first session plus, right? Which meant that Steve Smith played pretty aggressively. So Smith is back in form, which is great for Australian cricket, which is great for world cricket, and it is great to see him play very, very well. And it's also a lot of credit has to go to Pat Cummins. हम recognize नहीं करते हैं Pat Cummins का role इसमें, क्योंकि it's very simple कि आप एक senior player को हटा के you can easily get a younger player, like it's quite possible. But उन्होंने वो confidence दिखाया on Steve Smith, and उन्होंने ensure किया कि Steve Smith is brought back to the position that he plays very well. And it is very good to see Steve Smith play very well, because it is an absolute pleasure watching him bat. Because he is very unconventional as well. उनका टेक्निक बहुत ही odd होता है कभी-कभी, like आपको देखने में लगता है कि यार ये क्या इसको टेक्निक नहीं है क्या, but he's got his own way of playing. And also Labuschagne has come back to form, right? So you need to look at like 2 or 3 players who have come back to form now, whether they are genuinely in form or it is courtesy of the poor bowling that the other Indian bowlers barring Jasprit Bumrah have done. We do not know, but it's good to see Smith actually play very well, and both these innings have shown he's in good form.
Right. और लेवी, मैं कुछ देख रहा था कि ऑस्ट्रेलियन मीडिया ने विराट कोहली को लेके काफी बैशिंग करी है, पर इसी विराट कोहली ने जब स्टीव स्मिथ ने सेंचुरी करी तो उनको पीठ पे उनको क्लैप भी किया, उनको मतलब टैप भी किया. सो ऑस्ट्रेलियन मीडिया का जो एक थोड़ा सा एक व्यू पॉइंट था विराट कोहली के उस एक्शन को लेके जो उन्होंने सैम कॉन्स्टास के साथ में किया था, उसको बड़ा ऑस्ट्रेलियन मीडिया ने हाईलाइट किया है. तो थोड़ा सा 2 मिनट में संक्षेप में उस बारे में कुछ बता सकते हैं, फिर हम अरुण जी के क्वेश्चन की तरफ चलेंगे.
बिल्कुल. To be very honest, as a cricket fan, and to be very honest, I really appreciated and enjoyed Sam Constas's innings. I absolutely enjoyed his innings. The way his mental approach, the way he went about addressing. I think, to be very honest, it's always good to be a fan of youngsters who have courage, and to come across the number one bowler in the world, and to think out of the box. To be very honest, I had a fanboy moment of his. To be very honest, I mean, I really enjoyed. And for Virat Kohli, such a great player, to indulge in that kind of unnecessary act was unwarranted for, and I think it is unbecoming of a true champion that he is. I'm sure he must have really regretted his actions, knowing what a true sportsman he is. In the heat of the moment, he did. Everyone has a misjudgment or a lapse of, I guess, judgment on that. And I think I'm sure he would have gone and apologized to Sam Constas for what his actions. But I think Constas is the way he used to encourage the crowd. It was such a heartening. To be very honest, it was a joy to see that kind. So I think overall, I think it's just to get to your point. I'll just get to the point. At the end of the day, this is the contest at the highest caliber. A lot of emotions are displayed on the ground. They leave everything on the ground. They give everything, and in the heat of the moment, things happen. It stays on the ground. At the end of the day, Australians are good that way. They'll shake your hand and they'll say, you know what, let's bygones be bygones and let's move on from here. you know,
Right.
and that's what you know, Australians are famous for. And I'm sure you know, Kohli knows it all too well. Right from 2013-14 is first to hear. So I think it should be resolved nicely, and looking forward to the next 2 days and Sydney test. Ji.
Absolutely. So let's go for the questions. So Arunji,
Sure.
we are taking your questions here. So yes, Anoop.
Sure. So firstly, Arunji, good to have you back on the show. Great to get your questions, and we are very, very happy to answer them.
Right.
तो आपने लिखा है कि ऑस chances of winning is higher. Absolutely correct,
Right.
Arun. आपने जो कहा 100%. Australia have the better chance of winning. They are still on the driver's seat. What Nitish Kumar Reddy and Washington Sundar have ensured is that the game is not going to be one-sided and will not finish in the third day. It is going to go up to the fifth day.
Right. And
Agree?
yes, of course, Nitish Kumar Reddy is a great find. Yeah, I think it is a find of this tour. If I say so, ये गलत नहीं होगा.
I agree with you, mate.
Right.
Rishabh Pant was too
Levi.
great. Fine. Okay, Levi, go for it, mate.
नहीं, अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा सवाल. कि वो अरुण दादा बालू अच्छा हो. Rishabh Pant was too a great find. Yes, he was, but lost its way on too much preference. ठीक है, yes, look, he has every batsman has their style of playing, and we love him, and you know, for what he does when it comes off, you know. But we also have to, but like the shot, which I think you know, Anoop very nicely explained. It was absolutely unwarranted for in the context, and I think the host itself said that it is unnecessary, not required, and you have to gain the situational awareness of the game where we are and play according to that, and that's the true metal that you need to adjust. I mean, when we had the pre-game of Perth, I said that any team who adjusts on this wicket will come off trumps. He did not apply himself. He's got all the shots in his repertoire, including that shot. But at that point, that shot was not required to be played. He could have used any other shot from his repertoire to play that ball. But there was a high risk, very low to gain, because the situation, we are 200 or whatever or behind, right? A lot to lose. If you do a risk assessment, that was completely uncalled for. So I'm totally agree with you.
Exactly. लेकिन मुझे एक चीज याद आती है. एक वीरेंद्र सहवाग का मैं इंटरव्यू देख रहा था. तो आपको अगर याद हो तो वीरेंद्र सहवाग एक ऑस्ट्रेलियन टूर में वो ऑफ साइड पे कट शॉट लगाते हुए पीछे थर्ड मैन की तरफ 2-3 बार आउट हो चुके थे. एंड और ब्रेटली उनको वैसे ही बॉल डाल रहा था थोड़ा सा बाउंसी आउटसाइड द ऑफ स्टंप, ताकि वो ऐसा शॉट खेलें और पीछे थर्ड मैन पे वो आउट हो जाए. तो वो जब 95 पे थे तब भी एक बार आउट हुए, और उसके बाद में फिर टीम थोड़ी सी कोलैप्स हो गई. तो उन्होंने बताया कि सचिन तेंदुलकर ने उनको बोला कि ये थोड़ा सा देख और समझ, उसने तेरे लिए वहां पे फिल्टर लगा रखा है, अभी तू ये शॉट मत खेल. तू अगर अच्छी पोजीशन में बैटिंग कर रहा है और तू तेरा 100 कर, इसको और आगे बढ़ा, तो तू टीम को इस डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन से बाहर लेके आएगा. फिर तेरे को जो शॉट खेलना है वो तू खेल. तो वो ही सेड कि उसके बाद मैंने वो शॉट थोड़ा सा अवॉइड किया खेलना ऑस्ट्रेलियन कंडीशन में. तो जब आपको कोई सीनियर प्लेयर इस तरह की बात बताए, या फिर अगर सीनियर प्लेयर ना भी बताए, तो भी यू योरसेल्फ कैन रियलाइज कि यार मैं इस शॉट के लिए मेरे पास यहाँ पे फील्डर सेट है, मेरे लिए इन्होंने पूरा एक प्लानिंग करके रखा है, तो मैं उस प्लान को खुद जाके सक्सेसफुल क्यों करूं, राइट? तो मैं उस प्लान को अवॉइड कर सकता हूं कुछ 1 2 3 सर्टेन चीजें करके, तो मैं वो चीजें करूं ना.
मैं आपको इसमें एक अगर लवी अगर ओके है तो I'll add a couple of points. ये आप सोच के देखिए, राइट? What is the outcome of that shot, right? As a player, the outcome of that shot is to get a 4 or a 6 so that you can take the score forward, right? अगर मेरे पास 2 फील्डर बाउंड्री पे है और आप ग्राउंड डायमेंशन से बारे में सोचिए, राइट? मेलबर्न is a very big ground, right? It is not a small ground कि अगर वहां पे मैंने 2 प्लेयर रखा और मैं इतना टैलेंटेड हूं which ऋषभ पंत is, he can easily, he is capable to get over those 2 fielders, that's not the question. But जब वो 2 फील्डर वहां पे प्लेस किया गया है स्पेसिफिकली फॉर दैट शॉट, इट इज अ हाई रिस्क शॉट और इसमें गेन्स कम है, राइट? Think of the gain that he's trying to get. What is he trying to get? He's trying to get a gain to get a 4 or a 6 so that he can get the score moving forward. वो सिनारियो में वो शॉट on a Melbourne kind of ground on a bowler like Boland who is very accurate as well, right? आप सोच के देखिए, when you look at Jasprit Bumrah, he's very fast, right? He's a very quick bowler. And you know, Jasprit Bumrah के केस में सैम कॉन्स्टेंस ने जो किया, तभी वहां पे रोहित शर्मा ने कोई फील्डर नहीं रखा था, राइट? करेक्ट मी, कोई फील्डर नहीं था. इट वाज द 4th और द 5th ओवर ऑफ द गेम, राइट? व्हिच मींस वो टाइम पे वहां पे कोई भी फील्डर नहीं होगा, तो सैम कॉन्स्टेंस वाला शॉट जस्टिफाइड है. एंड सैम कॉन्स्टेंस के पास कोई प्रेशर नहीं था वो सिनारियो में. ऋषभ पंत के केस में वो हाई रिस्क, लो गेन, 90% चांस ऑफ फेलियर वाला शॉट, put your team into trouble. ये 4 कंडीशन को लेकर आपने अगर वो शॉट को देखा तो you will find that that shot is not advisable at that scenario. It is not that Rishabh Pant should not be playing that shot. मेरा यही व्यू है कि आप मैच सिचुएशन को देख के शॉट्स खेलें and then you know like you make a play, right? जैसे आपने बताया, right? It's absolutely सचिन की advice is correct, right? Nobody is stopping वीरेंद्र सहवाग from playing a cut shot. But अगर वहां पे आपने 2 फील्डर डाल के रखा है और आपने 2 बार वही शॉट खेल के आउट हुए हो आप, तो बट ऑब्वियस है कि आपको वो शॉट शायद नेक्स्ट इनिंग में रोकना पड़ेगा, ताकि वो फील्डर कभी ना कभी तो हटाएंगे ना. बिकॉज ये जो फील्डिंग उन्होंने प्लेस किया है, राइट, कमिंस ने जो रखा था, वो अनकन्वेंशनल फील्डिंग है, राइट? नोबडी कीप्स अ प्लेयर देयर, राइट? बिकॉज only for people like Rishabh Pant or maybe now Sam Constance, you would put players in those positions because they play those kind of shots, right? तो अगर आपने नॉर्मल शॉट्स थोड़े टाइम के लिए खेला तो नॉर्मली Cummins would have taken those 2 fielders away because he would like to place them into places where, you know, Rishabh Pant is getting runs. Or that means you will open up that shot again to be playing, right? So it is a mental calculation. Somehow I think that maybe does not do those kind of mental calculations. Maybe he's that kind of a guy who just goes out and plays on impulse. Maybe Levi, you want to add anything more, but that's the feeling I get.
Right. Maybe हम लोग yes, Levi, अगर if you want to add something, or maybe we can go to the next question.
And then we'll go to the next question. I'm sure there are better questions. Yeah. Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, these two need to be tick and tick, because I think that the style of cricket they're playing, it's not inspiring. They are actually pulling the team down. We need players like Nitish Kumar Reddy, Washington Sundar, and Yashasvi Jaiswal, who have shown that they have the thing. And I think they've coming to an end of their era as well. If you see Virat Kohli's average is gone down from 50 plus to now, low, mid 40s or something, which is very highly disappointing, which shows that where he's at with his career. I think they themselves should be responsible, and there is no shame in retiring at the end of the tournament. They've had a good run. They are legendary batsmen. I think they should retire rather than being replaced. It would be a bit of a dishonor to have them replaced. They should automatically or by themselves voluntarily retire into the sunset, like they did both of them did in the T20 World Cup. After the World Cup, they retired from T20. And I think that is what they should be. The mindset should be of great players, of going away rather than being shown the door. So this is what I'm
right. Anoop?
Sure, mate. India win against Australia in Australia last season. 390 was the target to chase. Yes, I believe he's referring of the Brisbane, the Gaba test, right? Where I think India got 390, if I'm correct. Rahul, correct me if I'm wrong. Absolutely correct, Arun, aapne jo kaha. But the current Indian batting lineup, I don't think will want to chase will go for a large target if it is the last day. They might, but I don't think the current Indian batting lineup has shown the spunk for actually chasing a large target. Agar main kahun about tomorrow's approach, right? I think India should approach tomorrow in clusters, if you ask me. So the first target for Nitish Kumar Reddy and Siraj should be to play time as much as possible, play at least an hour and a half if they can, and like get India closer and closer towards like that run less than 100. So ये उनका first like target होना चाहिए. Now second target should be, okay, let us say that you are able to achieve target number 1. Let us say that your lead to Australia is about say 80. मैं जैसे एक number बोलता हूँ, let's say the lead that you give to Australia is 80 runs. 80 runs है, तो Australia will expect to, like Levi said, they would want to get a target that is close to that 390 that is just put on the screen, right? Let us say around 380. तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया को 300 रन बनाने पड़ेंगे, करेक्ट? 300 रन बनाने के लिए आपको मिनिमम 2.5 to 3 sessions लगेगा, right? Even you are playing absolutely quickly and you are at the top of your peak, it's going to be 2.5 3 sessions, because in test cricket आप आराम से फील्डर को बाउंड्री पे रख सकते हो, right? कोई 2 फील्डर की रूल नहीं है वनडे क्रिकेट जैसे. तो आपको 2.5 to 3 सेशंस लगेंगे. तो समझ लीजिए इंडिया ने फर्स्ट सेशन में दे प्ले, दैट मींस ऑस्ट्रेलिया इज गोइंग टू टेक ऑलमोस्ट टिल somewhere around end of T or close to T for completing 300 runs, assuming all goes as per plan, right? Now in that scenario, India has now to play about 100 overs to either draw the match, right? Which is a lot more easier. मतलब आप almost end तक game को खींच रहे हो. Now you take the other scenario. Let us say that like Australia tried to get 300 in 3 sessions. That means like how Levi said, right? They have to play very, very fast, which means you can have something like what happened in Brisbane a few days ago, right? When Australia had to get quick runs, suddenly you saw that there were 5-6 wickets that were lost because the Indian bowling जो है उसको लगेगा ऑस्ट्रेलिया का गलती, because I don't think बुमराह को छोड़ के you have like the quality, maybe like Jadeja and Sundar might come into play because it's a 4-3 wicket, but pace bowling में I don't think you have the quality to challenge Australia on that condition until like Siraj turns over something that we have not seen. So the only way India is going to get wickets is if Australia play fast, which then opens up. So jitna India उस first session में खींच के, if they can manage to get even the lead down to even less than 100, it's also a psychological advantage, right? जब आपका lead 100 के नीचे होता है, तो psychologically when you come to bowl, you are looking at a 2 number, right? It is like that Bata वाला price, right? 100 रुपए का शू को आप 99 बोलते हो, it is because it's just to give you a mental thing कि मैंने सिर्फ 90 rupees दिया है. Like even though you're paid 100 rupees to the guy and you've got back 1 rupee from him, it is still 99, right? So अगर इंडिया इसको क्लस्टर के थ्रू में अप्रोच करेंगे, तो there is a better chance that they will be able to approach it. Look at it as a session by session, right? What is your goal number 1? What is your goal number 2? What is your goal number 3? If goal number 1 does not get over, what is your sub goal, right? So if India can stretch the first session, it opens up a lot more possibilities.
Absolutely.
I just want to add something, just one more to what
yes.
That is a very good point. It is perfect. I just want to complement that by adding just a few lines. The first point he put, would be the ideal situation for India. If India can eat into time, I would say it is even bigger. It's every minute that they cost Australia. It's not only a run that they save. It's like
time also
adding another run to them to the score, but that Australia has to make in a shorter time. That itself, what he just said, was gold. So Anoop, thanks for sharing that point. Very, very important point. That would be the ideal situation for India if India can eat into an hour and a half of the first session, the 2-hour session, and make even 15, 20 or 30 runs, let's say 30 runs. Hopefully Nitish will bat. If they bat for that long, they'll probably score a lot more than that. So 30 runs to 1.5 hours, one session gone, Australia will be under pressure. Ji, just wanted to add that.
Right. Yeah. Levi, would you like to take it?
Yeah, Rishabh has become matured and he must learn to play proper cricket. Childish, he probably meant gully playing days. Gallery, yeah, playing to the galleries also he could be saying. Playing days are over. Yes, absolutely. Look, he has got a big weight on his shoulder. He is the most expensive IPL player. That itself shows how much responsibility cricket is being placed on his shoulder. Right? He's also the captain of his side. and he has to, Arun Bhai has correctly pointed out that he has to now play his the role which he has been entrusted with. That correct word is entrusted. You have to now, especially in Test cricket, he has to know his role. One thing about the legends like Sunil Gavaskar, they knew exactly what their role was, what they had to do in the situation, and how to modify those. That's something they need to learn from. Look,
Absolutely.
Rishabh Pant has done a big injustice to his own talents by displaying the way he played cricket is very, very disappointing. I'm sure he must be disappointed in himself. And
Right.
when life always gives a second chance. So that's why in Test cricket is also like life gives you a second innings to redeem yourself. And we are hoping that
Absolutely.
all of the Indian batsmen who have not performed will give a proper showing of themselves and redeem themselves in the next
राइट।
innings.
अब जो एक यूजर है उन्होंने बड़ा एक इंटरेस्टिंग कमेंट किया, जो इंटरेस्टिंग सेलिब्रेशन भी था। अनूप, मे बी यू वुड लाइक टू टेक इट अप, यू आर अ बिग फैन ऑफ बॉलीवुड आल्सो, so it's a Pushpa style of celebration.
Sir, he is from the land of Pushpa, right? If I'm correct.
Right,
Nitish Kumar
right. He
Reddy
is from the land of Pushpa.
from Andhra Pradesh, and Pushpa, as far as I know, is the movie, is a Telugu movie from Andhra Pradesh. He also, I think, plays for Sunrisers Hyderabad, right? Which means that he's also playing against his captain in the field, right? So essentially, Pat Cummins leads Sunrisers Hyderabad. So,
Right.
I don't know his name, but Nitish Kumar Reddy is definitely Pushpa 2.0. He showed on the field that he's got all the spunk of the Pushpa movie, right? So I would say that, like he's a good find, but just like Sam Constas, मैं यही कहूँगा कि don't put him and Sam Constas on a pedestal. They're just young players. It's not be long before people figure them out, right? So याद रखिएगा कि like even for Sam Constas, right? Nobody has seen Sam Constas play until he came onto the field. So like a player like Bumrah would have now looked at understanding, okay, how do I next bowl to him when he plays in the second innings? I'm sure
Right.
Same way like with Nitish Reddy performing so well, not just the Australian bowlers but the English bowlers and other teams would start to slowly start seeing कि उनके batting में क्या chinks हैं, क्या issues हैं that he has to be exploited. So obviously, it is a great start for two youngsters, right? Sam Constas is 19. Nitish, I think, is about 22, like Levi said. So we're talking about two youngsters who have shown that like they have the talent to play on the big stage. And from as cricket lovers, all we have to hope for कि वो अपने talent पे ध्यान दें, performance पे ध्यान दें, and like they perform
Right.
good for both the countries. And that should be good enough, right? I mean, as cricket lovers, all you want is to see good cricket being played. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Rishabh has been glued to the wicket. We have overtaken our score. Okay. Levi, you want to take it because you've been answering all the Rishabh questions. So maybe this might just fall on the
I've become the resident Rishabh expert. If Rishabh the wicket, we have overtaken. Absolutely. Rishabh Pant by itself, I think if you ask any Australian, right, that which one player you fear the most, they don't fear anybody, but they're concerned about the most, they will say Rishabh Pant, right? Because he is such a devastating batsman that he can change the game in 15 minutes. Literally 15 minutes, he will change the game. And if he himself doesn't know his superpower. I think he's a superhero. If he knows his superpower, that rather than avoiding that shot, just being on the wicket itself, when the bad ball arrives, like Nitish Kumar Reddy showed, he slaughtered the bad balls. Nitish Kumar Reddy absolutely decimated those balls. Pant would have done the same, and we would have definitely overtaken Australia's score without a shred of doubt. Absolutely, I agree with you, Arun bhai.
Right. Anoop?
Virat's behavior on concepts, Virat number days are outnumbered. He himself has told it. I have a couple of points to add here. Virat is still 35, so it's not that he's very old. Unlike Rohit Sharma, who's already 37. It's 2 years, which is a huge difference in cricket. Virat in the 21 runs jab wo field mein the, so he did look very good in that 21 runs that he made, right? He looked switched on. Now like we spoke on yesterday's show, right? Whatever happened with Constance, according to me, was childish. But like Levi said, right? It's finished. It's done. It's dusted. There is a fine that has happened. Constance is not bothered about it. That incident is now over. तो अगर मैं देखूंगा तो I would say that we all need to move on a bit from it. I think कि Virat has still got some more legs left, depending on how he performs. Right? He hasn't performed. So a lot is going to depend upon कि second innings में उनका performance कैसे होने वाला है, Sydney Test में उनका performance कैसे होगा, because Virat still has that like what do you say, अभी भी उनके पास वो like he has that credit in the bank, courtesy of the record that he holds for some more time, but definitely he's more close to the end than close to the start. It's a big question of whether Virat can go back and iron out some of the technical things that have crept up in that game, right? Playing at the fourth stump and the fifth stump. That is a technical problem now. There is a batting coach. I'm sure if he goes and spends some time with them and maybe he just looks at it, he's quite definitely someone who can come out of it. I'm more concerned about Rohit Sharma because Rohit Sharma has shown some serious lack of form for a very long period of time. And I don't know, maybe it is the impact of the T20 way of playing that he has embarrassed to be successful in that format, which has maybe crept into the test game. Now it's going to be difficult for Rohit. So I think ये दो दिग्गज खिलाड़ी में से the one in more danger zone is Rohit Sharma, then Virat Kohli. Right. And I think like with Gambhir also leading the squad, right? It's a good possibility that और मैं अगर मुझे आप पूछोगे तो मैं ये कहूंगा, अगर समझ लीजिए आपको दोनों प्लेयर को निकालना है, जैसे like अरुण जी ने बताया, so you're also opening up a very big hole in the team, right? Because suddenly you're going to have your two most senior players not there in the squad. You're also going to lose your captain, right? So you need to balance it out. जब सारा experienced player एक साथ चले जाएंगे, with Ashwin also gone, you do not have experience there in the squad. So maybe the better way to approach it is that maybe the selectors have a chat with both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, very heart-to-heart chat. How do they want to approach it? So maybe if, let us say that Rohit is finishing up at the end of the series, just hypothetically, it's not that somebody has declared it. Let us say hypothetically Rohit is going to finish up at the end of the series. Then I would encourage that Virat plays for at least another couple of series. This is to ensure that the next set of youngsters are able to come in and start taking over the place. So there is a structured plan. मेरा कहने का मतलब ये है कि आप एक plan बनाओ with Virat Kohli, with Ravindra, because there are 3 or 4 players you have to replace, right, Rahul? If you think about it, right? आपको रविंद्र जडेजा को रिप्लेस करना पड़ेगा, आपको रोहित शर्मा को रिप्लेस करना पड़ेगा, आपको विराट कोहली को रिप्लेस करना पड़ेगा, आपको अश्विन को रिप्लेस करना पड़ेगा, राइट? अश्विन को रिप्लेस करना पड़ेगा. आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? You have to sit and make a plan कि how do you now structure it? Ashwin's gone, so we take him out of this equation. So we have 3 players who have not yet announced anything, right? But they are at that verge of like completing things. तो आप ये 3 लोगों के साथ बैठ के बात करें. आप इनके साथ clearly बात करके, you don't have to communicate it to the media. Nobody is saying कि like Ajit Agarkar comes out and says, I don't think Indian cricket में कभी वो होगा कि like you're going to have somebody coming and telling us in advance. But I'm saying they can have an offhand chat with the 3 legends and say, you know what, how do you structure, how do you see yourself in the next 2 years? Next WTC cycle में जो आपको इंग्लैंड सीरीज से चालू होगा, उसमें आप इन 3 दिग्गज खिलाड़ी को कहां देखोगे? Are you seeing them all through the series? Are you seeing them maybe till England, maybe 2 of them till England, maybe 3 of them till England, or 1 of them finishing in Australia? ये एक decision लेना पड़ेगा, which should be a planned decision, and that is done, then it's good for Indian cricket, ताकि एक साथ सारे लोग ना चले जाएं, तो ताकि you don't come to the problem that we had in 2011, right? जब suddenly like you had all the the senior players go away, and it took you like 2-3 years to again come back. That is something we should avoid. Give the youngsters enough opportunity and not drop players like Shubman Gill to accommodate somebody on the top of the order. Right.
So Anoop, next question भी विराट से related ही है. So maybe you would like to take it up.
Virat has become a murga by a good quality world class bowler. I don't think so, Arun ji. मैं थोड़ा यहाँ पे differ करूँगा. Virat has been, अगर आप उनके बैटिंग देखे हुए तो it has not been the challenge. The only challenge has been the ball that is on that 4th or 5th stump, right? जो ball बाहर जाती है, वो एक ही गेम है. Let me just आपको मैं थोड़े पीछे लेके जाऊं तो सचिन तेंदुलकर ऐसे ही एक सिनेरियो में थे ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, जब उनको कवर ड्राइव उन्होंने ऑलमोस्ट नहीं खेला because he was constantly getting out to that shot. आई थिंक वो जो 21 रन में विराट ने वो शॉट काफी बार अवॉइड किया था. अगर आपने कल उनका बैटिंग देखा होगा, आई एम श्योर एनी ऑफ यू वुड हैव वॉच्ड इट. बहुत सी बॉलें पैट कमिंस, मिचेल स्टार्क और बॉलर ने उनको डाला और उन्होंने छोड़ा. और इनफैक्ट इवन शोड अ कपल ऑफ टाइम्स. तो फर्स्ट टाइम छोड़ने के बाद उन्होंने वो इमीडिएट प्रैक्टिस भी किया. आई हैव लेफ्ट इट. अगर आप ये क्लोजली नोटिस करोगे उनके मैनरिज्म्स, ही इज वेरी, उनके मैनरिज्म्स ऑन द फेस होते हैं, राइट. तो यू कुड सी द मोमेंट ही लेफ्ट इट, ही वेंट बैक एंड ही डिड दैट, सेइंग आई हैव लेफ्ट द बॉल. तो आई थिंक वो जो रन आउट हुआ, राइट, दैट समहाउ प्लेड ऑन हिज माइंड फॉर व्हाटएवर रीजन. मे बी ही फेल्ट दैट ही वाज सॉर्ट ऑफ रिस्पांसिबल फॉर इट. And like in that scenario, maybe that ball came, that perfect ball that Boland bowls came along, and maybe he just nicked it. So I think Virat is not becoming, like he's not reached a point where you have to like give him away. But it's a technical problem. Maybe it's something that I'm sure he'll figure it out. So I think that you still need to make a consideration. Yeah.
Can I just add one point to it?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Just a quick 1 minute point is that like my view is slightly kind of aligned with what he's saying, because if you notice, if you take this whole series, if you see the way Virat Kohli has got out, more often than not, they have just dangled the carrot between third stump and the seventh stump, and he has invariably nicked it, right? And that shows not skill but lack of application. What Sachin Tendulkar did is something along the lines where he has to do. But so kind of, what, as much as I hate to say, Virat has been forced to look like what the Arun ji is saying, the word he has used, make to look like that, like a bunny, more to say. He's like Ishant Sharma's bunny was ponting, right? Used to always get out. So yeah, you can say that. Look, I'm sure the Virat would work. We've got still three more innings from him in the rest of the series. Let's wish him the best of luck and hope he does well.
Right.
And I would say
ध्रुव पूछ रहे हैं हमसे, बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन है.
Virat and Rohit should retire now with the utmost respect, just like Dhoni did. इनका एक शतक भी 15-20 innings में आता है. It's time for newcomers. ध्रुव जी, फर्स्ट तो धन्यवाद आपके क्वेश्चन के लिए. एब्सोल्युटली आपने काफी अच्छे पॉइंट्स रखे हैं यहाँ पे. अगर आप देखोगे तो आपने सही कहा कि they should retire with the utmost respect. They deserve that. They have been champions, and like they have taken Indian cricket forward by leaps and bounds. Virat has brought out a culture in Indian cricket which is which has actually helped in India winning like away series, India being such good like away teams, defeating quite some squads. Rohit has helped you win a World Cup. Rohit has nicely taken over the leadership role, and almost everybody who's left the team or is in the team have given only good things about Rohit. Very much like how Dhoni was from a captaincy perspective. इनका शतक 15-20 innings में आता है. Yes, correct, because they are almost nearing the end of their careers. और मैं एक ही पॉइंट कहना चाहूंगा इसमें. Actually something that they have to think about is they also play very less, right? Because वो काफी बार रेस्ट ले लेते हैं, वो डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट नहीं खेलते हैं. तो ये काफी इफेक्ट होता है. बिकॉज आप डायरेक्टली कितने भी बड़े प्लेयर हो, आप सुनील गावस्कर हो, आप रिकी पॉन्टिंग हो, आप लाइक डॉन ब्रैडमैन हो, आप डायरेक्टली टेस्ट मैच में आके परफॉर्म नहीं कर सकते हो. मैं अगर आपको थोड़ी सी पीछे लेके जाऊं तो पर्थ टेस्ट में पैट कमिंस की बॉलिंग वाज वेरी ऑर्डिनरी. यू ऑल वुड एग्री, राइट? व्हाई वाज इट ऑर्डिनरी? नाउ ही इज बॉलिंग वेरी वेल. वो इसकी वजह से था क्योंकि वो बहुत टाइम के बाद टेस्ट क्रिकेट खेल रहे थे. ही वाज लाइक he hardly played. They gave him a lot of rest ताकि he will be ready for the series. तो जब वो पर्थ में आए तो maybe he wasn't fully ready. He wasn't match ready as they call it, right? Not that bowling ready, नहीं. Not fit. Absolutely. They're not talking about match fitness. It is match ready. तो मेरे ख्याल में विराट और रोहित के साथ यही होता है. So maybe what Virat and Rohit, if they want to continue playing for India, I'm not saying they should retire now. It is a call between them and the Indian selectors. But अगर उनको खेलना है, so they need to seriously think about playing more cricket, and that may be grade cricket. They go back and play for their respective state. They go and play some club cricket. Aap Ashwin ko le lo na. I'm going to take a couple of minutes and talk about it because it is very important. Ashwin, जब international cricket नहीं खेलते हैं, वो जाके गली क्रिकेट खेलते हैं. When I say गली क्रिकेट, I mean like lower grade cricket.
Right.
Not just TNPL तो फिर भी almost like तमिलनाडु प्रीमियर लीग है वो, लेकिन वो जाके लोकल क्लब क्रिकेट खेलते हैं. The reason he does that is because he needs to keep in touch with the game. वो सिर्फ टेस्ट क्रिकेट खेलते हैं, right? Now Virat and Rohit are almost like that, right? Because वो T20 से रिटायर हो गए. One day cricket तो hardly होता है आजकल. So that means like they're only playing test cricket much like Ashwin does, right? So when you are not in touch with the game, it becomes very difficult for you to come and play a marquee series like India versus Australia in Australia, right? So ये problem, Dhruv ji, comes from the fact that you don't play enough cricket. So maybe if they want to play for India for longer time, then they need to think about whether they can go and play some great cricket and like get themselves a bit more into form. And I'm sure अगर दिल्ली में अगर किसी को बोलेंगे कि विराट कोहली will come and play, तो I don't think कि दिल्ली वाली स्क्वाड बोलेंगे कि विराट कोहली को जगह नहीं मिलेगी, या बॉम्बे वाला स्क्वाड नहीं बोलेंगे कि भाई आप रोहित शर्मा को जगह नहीं देंगे करके, right? I'm sure like they can easily get into the squad, play some domestic cricket, get some match practice. Why not?
एब्सोल्युटली. चलिए एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन हम लेते हैं, यहाँ पर रोहन जी का है, फिर आज की लाइव स्ट्रीम को हम लोग एंड करेंगे.
Levi, you may want to take this question.
नहीं आप ले लो प्लीज.
अभिषेक शर्मा, तिलक वर्मा, गायकवाड़ एंट्री, ये एक्चुअली हमने एक शो में भी बात किया था अरुण जी.
हम लोगों ने बात करी थी इस बारे में.
अभिषेक शर्मा, तिलक वर्मा और गायकवाड़ 100% ये 3 यंगस्टर जो आपने नाम लिखे हैं, ये फ्यूचर प्लेयर्स हैं. अगर आपको इनको टीम में लेके आना है तो ऑब्वियसली आपको 3 प्लेयर को निकालना पड़ेगा. दैट मींस यू हैव टू हैव अ सिनेरियो वेयर लाइक रोहित शर्मा, विराट कोहली आर नॉट प्लेइंग, बिकॉज अगर रोहित शर्मा और विराट कोहली खेल रहे हैं तो देयर इज नो चांस कि आप उनको ड्रॉप कर सकते हो. इट्स नॉट कि वो ड्रॉप नहीं कर सकते हैं, इट इज जस्ट द फैक्ट दैट अगर आप इट इज लाइक अश्विन, राइट? अगर आपने अश्विन को टीम में रखा और आपने उनको टीम को में खिलाया ही नहीं, तो आपको अश्विन की जरूरत नहीं है, राइट? सो सेम लॉजिक यहाँ पे है. अगर आपको अभिषेक शर्मा, तिलक वर्मा और गायकवाड़ को टीम में लेके आना है तो यू विल नीड 2 or 3 प्लेयर्स रिटर्निंग. दैट इज व्हाई मैंने ये कहा कि हमें इसको एक स्ट्रक्चर की तरह अप्रोच करना चाहिए. एक ट्रांजिशन जो होने वाला है, उस ट्रांजिशन को आप आराम से बैठ के प्लान करके कीजिए. तो अगर आप बोल रहे हो कि रोहित शर्मा इज गोइंग टू मूव आउट इन से 6 months फ्रॉम नाउ, जस्ट एज एन एग्जांपल, तो फिर आपको अभिषेक शर्मा और गायकवाड़ को वो अपॉर्चुनिटी देना पड़ेगा इन द टीम, बिकॉज दे आर द ओपनर्स, राइट? तो अगर आपको रोहित को रिप्लेस करना है तो आपको ओपनर लेके आना पड़ेगा, राइट? So you will have to get Abhishek Sharma and Gaikwad slowly into the squad. Tilak Verma would be a replacement for someone like Virat Kohli, right? Because he's a middle order player. Okay. Which means आपको विराट के साथ बात करके डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा कि उनका प्लान क्या है, and on the basis of that you make the decision how you get these youngsters. But आपने जो कहा right है अरुण जी, in the next WTC cycle I'm sure you are going to see Abhishek Sharma, Tilak Verma and Gaikwad play enough part. And in the next 2 to 3 years, you might see a completely different looking Indian lineup. You might actually have Abhishek Sharma opening with, Yashasvi Jaiswal, or it could be like Rahul and Yashasvi Jaiswal opening and Abhishek Sharma playing at, number 3 or number 4. Could be either way, but I think it's a good headache to have. But it has to be a planned headache. अगर हमने ये decision लिया कि नहीं हम जाके 3 को निकाल देंगे और 3 लोग को नया लेके आएंगे, तो you will not see success. You will need to do this.
I just want to add one more point to that, one brief 1 minute point.
Yes,
is
please.
that I agree. These are the names that are more promising, especially Gaikwad, Rituraj Gaikwad. उसके पास temperament है test cricket का. Abhishek Sharma is a very young player. Tilak Verma is a very young player, talented. They've proven themselves in T20, right? मुझे ये लग रहा है कि yes, we need to blood them in. जैसे अनूप भाई ने कहा, but I am just going to take it one step ahead. Should be mandatory for them. A structure be created where they have to play domestic cricket for 4-day cricket. They get used to the temperament. They perform there, and they be monitored. And that's how you need to go about it, rather than just blooding them into the test squad. Right? Otherwise, you'll be setting them up for failure rather than success.
Absolutely, very valid point. लेकिन नेक्स्ट जो कमेंट है वो आपके लिए ही है.
सही है, perfect.
Levi ji has pointed out the perfect batting analysis for Virat. For the last 20-25 innings, he has nicked to the keeper and first step. Yes, because it's like he's a great player, but for some reason the problem is between the ears. Right? It is not his technique. He is a great player with all. his performances, everyone knows it's between the years, and he and only him has to solve this problem, or he will make an exit. Only two options to, that is life. Either you sink or you swim, you live or you die, simple as that. So absolutely right. मेरा भी मैंने ये भी यही notice किया है कि a great player like him, like imagine, I think to epitomize one example to close off this one is the way he got out in, I think it was in the New Zealand series, a nearly full toss on the stumps. He's hitting crossbat, some weird shot he played, and he got bowled. That shows between the years what's going on. I will end with that.
Absolutely. ये लास्ट कमेंट है अरुण जी का, इसको लेके फिर हम लोग एंड करते हैं.
Nitish Reddy can be pushed up the batting order since he's faced 200. It is a thought good, but I would say that we should still hold on. अगर मेरे को पूछोगे अरुण जी तो इसके लिए, क्योंकि I wouldn't want to put pressure on a youngster because he's done very well in one game and push him up the order. There are the other players who are supposed to perform, right? So there is a Rohit Sharma who's not performing. There is a Virat Kohli who isn't performing very well. There is Rishabh Pant who isn't performing either, right? So I would put the pressure on these senior players to perform rather than expect that Nitish Reddy, Washington Sundar and Ravindra Jadeja suddenly go up the order and start to perform, because it is unfair to expect Nitish Reddy to do this 100 every game, right? Because हो सकता है कि आपने उनको 3 में डाला और वो उनको एक ऐसा बॉल मिला पैट कमिंस से, उन्होंने निक कर दिया, तो फिर हमें लगेगा कि यार ये शायद टॉप ऑर्डर में खेलने लायक नहीं है करके. तो मेरे ख्याल में अगर आप नीतीश रेड्डी को जहां है वहीं रहने दीजिएगा, उनको मौका दें ताकि वो अपने परफॉर्मेंस के थ्रू ये बता सकते हैं कि वो टॉप ऑर्डर में पहुंच सकते हैं, और ग्रेजुअली आप उनको टॉप ऑर्डर में लेके आइए. आप अभी वो 6 या 7 में खेलते हैं, राइट? तो मे बी आप उनके बैटिंग अगर अच्छा कर रहे हैं तो मे बी आप उनको 5 में लेके आइएगा, और फिर देखिए कि 5 में वो परफॉर्म कर पाते हैं. अगर वो 5 में परफॉर्म कर पाते हैं तो आपको पता है कि यस ही इज अ जेन्युइन टॉप ऑर्डर प्लेयर. आप एक यंगस्टर को सक्सेस के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटी दो, जैसे लवी जी ने बताया, राइट? सेट अप अ प्लेयर फॉर सक्सेस रादर देन सेट हिम अप फॉर फेलियर, because suddenly you push these guys on the top of the order, they might fail because of the fact that playing at number 3 or number 4 requires a certain set of skill जो number 6 और number 7 पे नहीं आता है. तो अगर अरुण जी, मेरा यही व्यू होगा कि आप नीतीश जी को वही रखिए जहां पे वो खेल रहे हैं, वाशिंगटन सुंदर को वही रखिए जहां पे खेल रहे हैं, और उनको मौका दें, उनको डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट में मौका दें. अगर आपको उनको 4 में खिलाना है तो आपको उनके स्टेट टीम हैदराबाद या तमिलनाडु को बोलना पड़ेगा कि उनको 4 या 5 में मौका दें ताकि वो उस पोजीशन के लिए रेडी हो जब वो नेशनल टीम में आएंगे. आप डायरेक्टली नेशनल टीम में कोई प्लेयर को 7 से 4 में लेके नहीं जा सकते हो, बिकॉज यू माइट एंड अप इन अ सिनेरियो कि वो ठीक तरह से नहीं खेले और उनका जो कॉन्फिडेंस अभी है वो गिर गया, तो फिर देन यू आर हैविंग अ बिगर प्रॉब्लम. दिस इज जस्ट माय व्यू कि लेट थिंग्स दे आर.
एब्सोल्युटली. और इस केस में क्या होता है अनूप कि बहुत जल्दी लोग जो है वो प्लेयर के ऊपर जजमेंटल हो जाते हैं कि नहीं यार ये तो ठीक से काम नहीं कर रहा, या ये तो ठीक से खेल नहीं रहा है, तो इसको बाहर करो. तो वो उस केस में, जैसे आप अगर एक शेफ को बोलेंगे कि वो बार्बर का काम करे तो वो नहीं हो सकता. तो एक जो आपने बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज बोली कि प्लेइंग एट नंबर 1, 2, 3 रिक्वायर्ड डिफरेंट स्किल, and playing at number 5, 6, 7 is a different skill. So if he is performing well at number 7, so gradually maybe you can move him exactly up at number 6 or number 5. So वो एक justifiable चीज होगी प्लेयर के लिए भी और टीम के कंट्रीब्यूशन के लिए भी. So आज के डिस्कशन के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद अनूप आपका, लेवी आपका, दोनों का, और जिन यूजर्स ने हमें कमेंट किए, अरुण जी, ध्रुव जी और आर के फोटोग्राफी जी, सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. और कल के डे एंड होने के बाद में रिव्यू के ऊपर हम लोग एक बार फिर से मिलेंगे, और लेट्स होप कि कल का दिन जब एंड हो तो इंडिया शायद एक कमांडिंग पोजीशन में हो. So let's see.
Hopefully the smiles remain the same. Yeah.
Absolutely. So have a good evening, good night, and कल फिर हम लोग मिलेंगे. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Thank you.
Thank you.